Are you ready for brown gravy? Oh, taste and see, there's a word for you and me. For brown gravy.
Serving the uncompromising truth makes us truly free.
For brown gravy. Open your heart, your mind, your soul, he'll make you whole. For brown gravy.
Preaching with power.
It's the relevant leadership strategist.
Hey everybody, it's Bishop R. Christopher Brown III. You're with me another week. Man, I am honored and privileged. One, that you're taking time out of your busy schedule, whether you're driving along in your car, whether you're sitting home in front of your television, whether you're looking at me on your iPad or your mobile device, whether you're cooking right now and having this played in the background. You're giving me your time. And I so appreciate you giving me your time. I don't take that stuff for granted. You don't have to watch me. You don't have to listen to me, but you are. And so I appreciate that. Here's what I want to do. I want to bless you with something since you're listening to me. I need you to email me. And when you email me, I'll have your email address inside of there. And I want to set up a way or set up something to give back to you via email. And all you got to do is email me right now. It's right across that screen. You send me your email and your email address and just say, I've been watching the Brown Gravy Moment and you said you're going to send me something. You can say it just like that. It's all right. And we'll get back with you within a couple of weeks. I want to bless you with something because you've been blessing me by giving me your time. And oh, by the way, if you've not followed us or liked us on Facebook or followed us on Twitter or Instagram, I want you to do that right now. On Facebook is Bishop R. Christopher Brown III. That's that public page or that personal page. The public page is Robert Christopher Brown III. On that page, it's all things leadership. So if you just like the leadership stuff, you want to grab a hold of me on that page. Now that's a public figure page, and so it doesn't matter how many people grab that one. We also have another public figure page called Relationships Unplugged. You got all them things? Yeah, I know. I got a lot of jobs. Just pray for a brother, right? Relationships Unplugged deals with all things relationship, married, single. Oh my, it's going to be real good. Did you know that single is not a cuss word? Click on that page and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Did you know marriage was God's example for the earth? Oh, I can't wait to talk to you about that as well. So that's Relationships Unplugged. Go ahead and grab that page. Now, on Instagram and Twitter, as well as Snapchat, but now I've already said a few times, I've not been snapping or chatting and don't even really understand the concept of it, but I'll do it if I start seeing followers on there. But I'm always on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll be the one responding. I don't have staff that's sending generic anythings. It'll be me. So it's Bishop Brown 3. That's on Twitter and on Instagram. I want to connect with you. I want to know that you are being blessed by this moment. And let's get those followers up, because the more followers, hey, that means the more content can get spread around. And the more brown gravy spread, the better everything is going to taste. Imagine brown gravy in your living room right now. Imagine brown gravy on your cousin's living room. Now, you know your cousin crazy. He needs some brown gravy. You know your cousin not always there. She needs some brown gravy. So make sure they know that it's happening, that is going on. Connect with us, and let's start working together to develop the level of leadership that I know God has in store for you. Well, it's another week, and we're not finished with the lesson that we've been working on all this month. It's dealing with leadership, and it's snippets and pieces of a couple of books that I've written. One in particular is Wood Carriers, and the other one is I Get to Serve. And we got a couple of other leadership manuals and pamphlets that we've pulled from in order to kind of develop some of these teachings. And they become personalized to the ministry or the business that we're called to or that we're asked to come to. And here again, I'd love to come. All you got to do is email us and we'll make it happen. I'm not hard to work with. My job is to pour my life out onto you to make sure you receive everything that the Lord has in me for you. All right, so then I want you to grab your notepads and get some people around you. How about have a watch party and you guys begin to listen in on thoughts that I've had and or have concerning leadership and concerning serving and servanthood. I want to talk to you a little bit about wood carriers and what my mindset is behind that, what it actually is, because I'm mentioning these words without even knowing if you know what those words mean. I'm talking about I get to serve, and maybe you don't really even understand that concept as well. And so sometime or another throughout this broadcast, we're going to deal with wood carriers and talk to you about what it means and what it has, as well as the concept of I get to serve. But until then, I want you to dip in, peep in now, and begin to get your pens and notepads ready, because you're going to get a chance to kind of look in behind a teaching that we did for said church on leadership. It's going to be great. It's going to be phenomenal. I know you're going to be blessed. All right? And let me know that you're being blessed, by the way. See you in a second.
Oh, see, that's going to help some of these folk trying to run for ordination doing convocation. I can't wait till I get my papers, Doc. Those papers does not mean you're a bigger preacher. Those papers means you're a bigger plumber. You just got plumbing orders, not preaching orders. He said, anoint them to manage the people, right? And I trained you prior to the people ever coming by having you in smaller situations with the same kind of issues. Because the Lord doesn't waste training. And when you don't learn the lesson, you ready for this? He puts you back through the course until you pass it. No, you don't believe that? Ask the children of Israel. It was supposed to take them 3 days, but they couldn't learn the lesson in 3 days, and so then, or 10 days rather, but it took them 40 years to try to figure out, I'm going in a circle. Yeah. And some of y'all, I'm just about to go to school. You hadn't realized yet, it's the same circle. Ask your neighbor, did you learn the leadership lesson? See, that's why you had that aggravating coworker. That's why your boss that you were working for was as mean as they were. He was training you then. But you were so busy being all in your feelings, you missed the lesson. You were crying, so Pastor, come lay, Bishop, oh Bishop, lay hands on me, Bishop. I need to get out of this job. And see, we not understand. Well, you know, we do understand, but we love you enough. We lay hands, and now you got up out of, that means you exempted the class or dropped the class. But whenever you drop the class, you still got to pay for it. Y'all not... Hallelujah. I wish I had some college folk in this room that after a certain period, if you drop it, it won't show up on the grade list, but it's still going to show up on your debt list. And some of y'all paying debts of classes that you keep dropping. No, it ain't on your scorecard, but it's on your debt list. So he says, you're in the apostolic house, right? So apostolic houses get the answer before the problem comes up. So then the pastor, the bishop, the preachers, they preach the answer. You rate my soul. See, you take notes for the answer so that when the problem shows up, I don't got to run back and say, what is it? No. I ain't got to ask him anything. What I do is go back to what I wrote down. And it says right there, it says very plainly, when this shows up, when the enemy comes comes in, yeah, like a flood, raise up the standard. Not raise up your voice, raise up the standard. Are we all right? I like this place. Listen, I ain't said none of this before. You notice I hadn't been back to... No, I get the served script right there. This ain't scripted. Are we recording? Okay, good. I own the copyright. No, I'm just joking. No, I know it. I'm just joking. Yes? So then the answer comes, right, before the problem. So then when David met Goliath, he didn't have an issue. Now, wait a minute. You got all these other leaders who have the tools to fight, but not the answer to fight. No. Yeah, Saul's army had the tools, but David had the strategy. Hallelujah. And the ones who had the tool, you know, the eloquent people. Y'all, the ones who looked the part. I don't know what a preacher's head looked like, but the ones who got the preacher's head. You know, you done heard folks say that. They got a preacher's head. They got a preacher's voice. I'm trying to, what does that look? At any rate, all right. So the ones who actually had the tools couldn't do anything. Hear that? So then there was a problem presented, and the tooled people couldn't solve it. So now we're sitting in church Sunday after Sunday with a Goliath that's destroying the culture. And the tooled people can't answer it. Here comes this shepherd's boy who wasn't concerned about doing nothing but serving. He was already used to being the least of them all. He was already used to not being invited to tables. He was already used to being the stepchild. Come on now, come on. He was already used to handling the dung of the people. He was already used to it. The rest of them, they weren't used to it. As a matter of fact, you know they weren't used to it, and you know that they knew that he was, because whenever David showed up, the brother said, why you ain't back there with them few little meager sheep back there? Why you ain't back there handling that doo-doo? That's that echo. That's not the voice. While David's standing there, he hears the problem talking. He says, oh, wait. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine? Wait. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine who has come to destroy the culture of Bethel Christian Fellowship? I mean, what's that sound? Because that don't sound like Bethel. And we got all the preachers, all the leaders, all the pastors, everyone else sitting around, and nobody can handle it, but we all got our little sachets and our crosses and our collars. And here come this little boy. He don't know much. All he got is some cheese and bread, toting it to the brothers. And he says, wait a minute, no. I hear a problem, but I already got an answer. See, I got an answer back when that lion tried to grab that sheep the other day, and I learned how to handle a loud mouth. Hallelujah. Because you know, a lion roars before it ever attacks. So David said, I already know how to handle something that's loud, so I'm going to take the lesson that I got when my pastor preached it and apply it to this Goliath. Because he talking loud, but he ain't saying. Lord, that's a great preaching moment. Would you shake somebody's hand on either side of you and tell them that problem is talking loud, but tell them it ain't saying nothing. Tell them, because I got an answer for it, and all I got to do is learn how to apply. So he runs up and says, no, the sound ain't gonna bother me. Y'all running from a sound. I already heard the sound before because my pastor gave me the answer for you. He's running up to it. And when he gets there, he sees how big it is. So some of them didn't run from the sound. Some of them ran from the size. Y'all ain't in the room. So they understood, okay, well, he's just making noise. But by the time they got to it and saw how big the problem was, they were like, oh, no, that's not for me either. And guess what? We got in our churches, in leadership, a bunch of folk who hear the problem, but they see it as too big for them to solve, so they'd rather do their stuff at home. I got stuff to do at home. I got children. My kids got to go to school in the morning. I can't come to conference this week, Doc. The storm just came through. You ain't spent none of your money on the storm, right? You done got FEMA and everybody else to bring you 13,000 gallons of water. You ain't got any money going on. You just like having sympathy. I mean, you got water on your road. That's that little trinkle right across there. You could have got across that. I got to work in the morning. I try to figure out how these folk with all these jobs, they got to work, don't ever have any money. So when I ask for a $100 seed with your working self, you sit there. But I thought you were leaving and not handling that problem because you got to go to work. Some of y'all don't like me. It's okay. Yeah, that's too big for me, huh? Oh, no, that's going to take too long. I'm more concerned about entertainment, not impartation. No, I like the fun of church. I don't want the work of church. I want the fun of ministry. I don't want the function of ministry. So this right here means I got to function. No, I actually got to pray. Not participate with other people praying. Because, if somebody else is leading, I really ain't got to pray. I can just... No, try it sometimes, pastors. Go ahead and do a corporate prayer. Let somebody else lead, and you kind of walk around and see who's praying. Most of them ain't praying. They on their phone going through Facebook, talking about Jesus, 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 Jesus. They ain't engaging in no prayer. Oh no, they're not doing it. They're not even engaging in praise and worship. They're moving because the music makes them move. Wait a minute, come in this room. You do know you can move simply because music makes you move. I know you're sanctified and saved, but let your favorite song come on. No, I'm not talking about your Kurt Franklin's, your Clark sister kind of favorite song. I'm talking about prior to your sanctified salvation self. That song, and you walking up in the mall, and Teddy Pendergrass comes on. You're like, oh, no, wait a minute. You'll catch yourself, but the very first reaction from your body is moving just to the music. You do know the reason why we can't get breakthrough in praise and worship is because they're not engaging in it because it's too big of a giant. They're just moving because it's music. That's too big. No, I'll just... And as you pick the song up, I'll just... praise him. Don't feel a thing. Because really and truly, if you felt that praise would have set a fire on that whole row. But you're the only one on your row praising because you're not really engaged. You're just doing it. How much time I got? I'm getting ready to close. Y'all don't hear me. Said I'm getting ready to close. Because I don't want to make what he said true. He prophesied that y'all be here to 6 o'clock. I'm going to prove the prophet wrong. No. See, that's gonna mean that I won't be able to go to the football game. So I ain't scared of the sound. I'm scared of the size. Because, the Lord called me to enjoy my life. Oh, let me ride this road for a minute. You enjoy my life kind of folk. I'm trying to figure out how you enjoying a life that you didn't even know you had until he gave it to you. He said he'd give me the desires of my heart. And I'm sorry, this is my first time. Y'all forgive me. But I got to be myself. It's BrownGravy. Thank you for letting me be myself. All right. So, I got to enjoy my life. God gave me that stuff to enjoy. I'm trying to figure out, did God actually give you that or did you give you that? One, because if God gave you it, then it already understands the call on your life. So it won't be pulling against, it'll be pulling.
Okay, so I promise you we talk about it. I've been threatening, so I got to make good on that threat. Let's talk about the word wood carriers. When we came up with the word wood carriers, it was literally the Lord speaking to us from the book of Genesis, where the Bible says that the Lord gave vision and or spoke to a leader, Abraham. And he said to Abraham, I want you to go to a mountain. I want you to find a place, a high place that is, and I want you to worship there. Go to a high place and talk to me. Go to a high place and hear from me. Go to a high place and learn from me and learn of me. As soon as Abraham heard that charge from the Lord, here's what he did. He made a call. He made a clarion call, and he asked for people to help him get to that high place so that they all can hear from God, so that they all can be benefited. And the Bible says that Abraham called out, and Isaac and two lads showed up. That's right, Isaac and two lads showed up. At that moment, Abraham grabbed an axe and started chopping down a tree. And he created or made at that point wood or wood pieces. And he took those wood pieces that he chopped from that tree and gave it over to Isaac and those two lads. At that moment, Isaac and the two lads became wood carriers. They began to carry the wood that Abraham chopped down so that they can handle it. In other words, wood carriers are those people to whom are what we consider human resources that will help any vision, any mission come to full fruition. That the leader's job is to take this huge tree, the vision, this huge monstrosity of a thing, and start chopping it down into bite-sized pieces, start chopping it down into liftable pieces, because you can't lift a whole tree. But with enough people, we can carry a whole tree from one place to the next. Maybe that's why leaders are dying. Maybe that's why leaders are losing. Maybe that's why leaders are quitting, because they're trying to lift a whole tree up by themselves and put it on their backs to take it from one spot to the next. Maybe there's a leader listening to me right now, and you've been under such strain and stress because you have this huge trunk, this huge tree on your shoulder, on your back, and you're lugging it from one area to the next because you know it can't stay where it is, when all you need are some wood carriers. that the tree doesn't have to arrive in its whole state, that you can chop that thing down into carryable pieces, that the work is spread out between and amongst more than just one person, that the days of Lone Ranger have been gone. But if you know, like I know, and if you grew up in that era, that Lone Ranger wasn't really a Lone Ranger anyway. He at least had Tonto. I'm wondering, do you have a Tonto anywhere near you? Yeah, the days of the Lone Ranger have long passed. You need help. You need wood carriers. Here's what I want you to do. Here's another social media moment. I want you to post right now, I am a wood carrier. You might not understand it all, but I want you to begin to profess what God has called you to be, because each and every one of us are wood carriers. Each and every one of us have the ability to carry a piece of a vision, a piece of a mission, to get it from one place to the next. Go ahead right now, get on Facebook and post, I am a wood carrier. Tag me, if you will, Bishop R. Christopher Brown on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Bishop Brown 3. I want to know how many wood carriers we got out there, because there are people who are drowning right now and they don't even know that right around them, right in their vicinity, right near them are people who God has called to help them fulfill the call that's on their life. And as they're fulfilling that call, they themselves are becoming fulfilled. Are you the one, or should your leader look for another? We need as many wood carriers as we can find, because there's a lot of work to be done. And there's a lot of pieces to that work. And you may be one of the ones that's called to carry that piece. Pick that piece up. Walk with that leader. Lift the weight and watch what can be built when those two marry one another. This is Bishop R. Christopher Brown. I'm looking forward to sharing even more of this with you. Join me next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And let's begin to delve even deeper into this thing called leadership. Hey guys, this is Bishop R. Christopher Brown III, the Relevant Leadership Strategist. I need you to go to www.iget2serve.com, IGET2serve.com, and purchase this book. I promise you it's going to improve your leadership team. It's going to improve your leadership acumen. I get to serve. I ain't got to do it. I get to do it. See you there.
Preaching with power.
It's the Relevant Leadership Strategist. Are you ready for
Hey guys, Bishop R. Christopher Brown here. I would love to engage with you even more than we are right now on Dominion TV. So here's what I need you to do. Follow me on Facebook, Bishop R. Christopher Brown III, or Robert Christopher Brown III, that's the public page, or on Twitter and or Instagram at Bishop Brown, the number 3. I'm looking